and they win the NFC South.
What's good, everybody? Let's talk some Tampa sports. It is Aints week 8. Bucs looking to bounce back, go to 6-2, head into that bye week, get healthy. That is what we need. Please, please, please. So, big divisional matchup, as always. Doesn't matter the records. Throw that out the window in divisional matchups. They are 1-6 or 5-2. Who cares? Who cares? Get the win, go into the bye, get healthy. Simple as that. So, as it's been with the Bucs, let's go ahead and start with the injury report, which I do not have pulled up. Don't you love someone who is unprepared to do their job? In the meantime, let's play a game called the New Orleans Saints or the New Orleans Pelicans. Which team has a quarterback? That would be neither. If you have two, you have none. I get it. Rattler's starting. He's been okay. But there's still talks of Tyler Shuck. There's still rumblings within the fan base. Should they bench? If you have two, you have none. Might as well throw Zion out there at this point at tight end and see what he can do. He'd honestly be an insane tight end. That'd probably be crazy. But for the Buccaneers and their injury report, yesterday was scary. Look at all these DNPs yesterday. It was a walkthrough. A lot of guys just didn't participate. It, is what it is. It's a walkthrough. Today, things did get a little bit better. Only guys still not participating is Teddy Bridgewater, whose injury is his teeth. Chris Godwin still dealing with the fibula. Bucky Irving still dealing with foot and shoulder. They've both already been ruled out for this game. And then Hassan Reddick still waiting on MRI results. At the time of making this video, I still have not heard anything regarding the MRI and Hassan's timeline to recovery. And looks like Vita Vea did not practice due to a foot. We've seen that here and there throughout the season so far, so I wouldn't be too worried yet regarding that. As for the Saints, like I said in the video yesterday, they've been pretty lucky so far with their injury luck outside of what just happened last week, losing McCoy and Keandre Miller. So things have turned a little bit for them, unfortunately, with their injury luck. Still not a list like that, but things have turned a little bit, and it looks like everyone here probably will end up playing on Sunday who's on their injury report right now. I mentioned this yesterday, but this Saints team is a much better team in New Orleans, and that's something you got to be aware of. They've played the 49ers tough at home. They played the Cardinals tough at home. They played the Patriots tough at home. They beat the Giants at home. Like I said, you throw the records out the windows in a matchup like this. They've played all those non-divisional opponents tough at home. Now you got a divisional opponent coming in, a team that you know very well. These players know each other. They know tendencies. Obviously, the Saints have a different head coach, but Kellen Moore, he was NFC coordinators for the Cowboys and then the Eagles, so he's familiar with the Bucs and what Todd Bowles does as well. There's familiarity here, so there's nothing to be taken lightly with the Saints. As much as we'll mess with them and have fun with them, because they're 1-6. They're not relevant at all in the grand scheme of the NFL. At this point, I feel like the Bucs were getting talked about a little bit too much. I prefer less MVP talk, less NFC first seed talk. I love the underdog role. That's just my opinion. There's no right or wrong answer. That's just my opinion. I love the underdog role, and I think this team plays better in the underdog role, if I'm being honest. So that's perfectly fine with me. As for the Saints offense versus the Bucs defense, let's get into that. Looking at the Saints offense and what they've done so far this season, I showed obviously the personnel and each player's stats in yesterday's video. The ops just going into each player and what they bring to the table. But for the team as a whole and game planning, what we're talking about, previewing the team as a whole, rushing attack has not been great so far this season. Obviously, the Bucs have not been great so far this season as well. We can say we don't have half of our offensive line and our starting running back is out. They can say, like I said, they've had pretty good injury luck. This will be their first game without their starting center, who is a very good Pro Bowl caliber center, probably the best overall player on their offense. So that will be a hit, absolutely, to the Saints' offense. Pass blocking, run blocking. You got Vita Vea across from, who is their backup center? Luke Fortner, I can tell he wasn't drafted by the Saints because of the jersey he's wearing. Draft year 2022, third round selection. Yeah, so it looks like he came over from the Jacksonville Jaguars. That's what Vita Vea is going up against. So I would say that would be advantage Bucs there. So I do expect the Bucs to be a lot better against the run this game than they were in Detroit. Where in Detroit, I don't even think it was that bad overall. You just got gashed a few times. Like, you just made mental errors, not covering your gaps and filling your gaps, and bad tackling, bad technique, like things that are absolutely fixable. It wasn't due to a lack of talent, a lack of whatever. It was just mental errors. The players talked about it in their post-game interviews. We watched in the film session guys missing tackles, people not filling their gaps, and it leading to big runs by Jahmyr Gibbs. These are things, these are chances where you can look at that and come into the Saints, be pissed off, come into New Orleans and just fix those errors. Fix those mental errors against a team that, once again, you do have more talent than. There's no denying that. Come out, stop the run, force everything into Rattler's hands, and see what he can do. He's been better at home, like I said, but do I expect him to be able to beat this Bucs defense? Throwing the ball to Olave, Shaheed, and Cooks, Juwan Johnson, some good players there, but Zion McCollum has been solid so far this season, not terrible. Jamel Dean is ranked the first cornerback. 1 out of 112 is what Jamel Dean is ranked so far this season at cornerback. Got Benjamin Morrison behind him. Parrish, I think he struggled a bit, especially in the first half of last game, but got a little bit better as the game went on. Has been very good so far in the slot. I think Juwan Johnson will probably be the biggest threat for the Bucs. He's a very good, pretty athletic tight end. In the middle of the field has been where the Bucs have struggled primarily so far this season through the passing attack. So if they can limit Juwan Johnson, I'm not really worried about the wide receivers beating us, putting up a load of yards. Spencer Rattler hasn't thrown for 250 so far this season. Alvin Kamara has not rushed for 100 yards so far this season. He did get to 99 against the 49ers, so you can throw your hands up and be like, But 45, 42, 70, 27, 31, 28, and look at these yards. He's averaging 3.6 yards per carry. I just don't see a way where this offense is going to be able to put together a very good game where they put enough points up to beat the Buccaneers. Like, I think they've scored 20 only twice this season. Yep, so there you go. They scored 21 against the 49ers, 26 against the Giants. How am I supposed to look at this team and be like, yeah, they're going to be able to put up enough points and, win this game against the Buccaneers, who, outside of last week, have been pretty good scoring throughout this season. They put up 30 points a couple times and put up over 20 points every game except for last week. When you look at that, when you look at Rattler hasn't thrown for 250 so far this season, Kamara hasn't technically rushed for 100 so far this season. Their highest receiving performance is Shaheed, 114. Olave's gotten close to 100 a couple times. I just don't see where the explosiveness is going to come from. I get it. They're better in the Superdome than they are on the road. It's a divisional matchup. Things can get weird. Things can change. But based on so far this season, how? For the Bucs defensively, it sucks. Obviously, Kancey has been out since week 2, but now Hassan Reddick is out. So now we have Anthony Nelson as our backup edge rusher opposite of Yaya Diaby. So they do have 2 pretty talented young tackles on the outside. I'll be interested to see how much pass rush we can get from the outside. I do trust Vita Vea to make some noise on the interior, like I said, but interested to see what we can do pass rush wise. Flipping sides now, so going Bucs offense versus Saints defense. This Bucs offense is looking to find a way to flip things around after last week. Offensive line was horrible. Baker Mayfield missed some throws. Miscommunication from the wide receivers. I know Otten and Rashad White are going to be so happy they don't have to chip every single play where they're going out for a pass. It's going to be nice. It's going to be looking a lot different for this Bucs offense. There is no Aleem McNeil over here. There is no Aiden Hutchinson over here. You have Chase Young, who's Chase Young. You have Carl Granderson, who's had a pretty decent season so far. I think he's at 4.5 sacks. Cam Jordan, Brian Breesy, Like we talked about this defensive line yesterday. It's just not too much to worry about when you look at what the Bucs went through last week. When you think about how much Otten and Rachaad White had to chip and stay in to block all of last game, that's 2 less guys you have out there running routes. So you have the Lions defense who's hungry, ready to battle, go to war, turn things around after their loss in Kansas City. But they only have to guard 3 guys because Otten and Rachaad White were having to block the entire game. So this adds 2 guys into your route field, into your route trees downfield, which makes a massive difference. And I do expect a get-back game for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Offensive line, I expect that to look better. Like I said, Charlie Heck won't be having to go up against Aiden Hutchinson. It'll be Carl Granderson. There's a huge drop-off there. Michael Jordan won't be having to go up against Aleem McNeil or whoever. You're going up against Cam Jordan or Brian Breesy or Godshaw or whoever. There's big differences there. So as we've seen so far this season, when Baker Mayfield has time, things look good. This offense moves pretty well. Grizzard has shown over the season to get better and better and use things that he does in the first quarter, build off of it into the second, third, closing out the game. I expect this to look a lot smoother, a lot better, and it needs to happen. We cannot fall into a lull like we've done the past few seasons where, you start 3-1 and then you go into this mid-season lull. No. We're past that, right? We are past that. Team's 5-2. Let's get to 6-2. Go into the bye week. Hopefully get Bucky back. Hopefully get Godwin back. Hopefully we at least get an update on Luke Gedeke so we can stop seeing Charlie Heck out there at right tackle, and we can go from there with the season. Big game, divisional game, a chance to get to 6-2 and get healthy during the bye. That's what this is. So, excited for this game on Sunday. Only the second divisional matchup of the season. I think this is their first divisional matchup of the season. These games are always fun. Can't wait to watch it at 1 o'clock, like I said. So, let me know your thoughts and comments down in the comment section below. If you have any score predictions, let me know down in the comment section. Like, subscribe if you haven't already. Go Bucs. You all have a blessed one.